Mr. Buckles will lead us in the pledge.
Yes, ma'am, if you won't hit me. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, since I am back, we do not have to elect a chair pro tem unless y'all just want to. So we'll move on to review and approval of the USDA letter regarding Putnam Edge. And would you like for me to read the letter?
Yes, please.
Do y'all have a copy?
I think there's copies sitting on right here. They can take those.
I haven't read it either.
This letter is addressed to Rebecca Manning of the USDA in regard to Putnam Edge High School. Dear Ms. Manning, thank you for your recent inquiry regarding the status of Putnam Edge High School, which is known as EDGE. The school board finds EDGE to be in good standing, and a recent third-party audit is attached. EDGE obtained a school letter grade of C for the last academic year, and the charter school is currently under a 15-year contract with the school board. The school district has some concerns, also attached here too, regarding certain requirements within EDGE's charter. EDGE and the school district are working closely together to address those enumerated concerns and reach a positive outcome. Pursuant to Section 1002.33 of the Florida statutes, the school board will not and cannot assume any debts of EDGE. This letter shall not be viewed as a waiver of Section 1002.33 Florida statutes in the event EDGE potentially defaults on a USDA loan. Sincerely, Jane Crawford, Putnam County School Board Chairperson.
You got a copy?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't know, it's not on here, so I didn't know when to do it. I have a public comment card. Mr. Padgett, if you'd like to come up.
I'd also like to know what's being attached.
Yeah, I looked for the attachment and I couldn't find it. Thank you. Do we have the attachments? Okay.
Charlie can address that.
I believe that they were included on the agenda from last.
So it's the same as
The one was the audit, and then the other one was the
it
email.
wasn't in the
The
email.
audit is a concern?
No.
No, ma'am,
It says the audit was attached.
The audit is attached, and also the plan, or what does it say?
Did Rhonda
Site
want
plan.
There
to,
was a
you want
list
to address
from
the
the
auditor?
district.
Some concerns also attached here too, some concerns.
Yes.
That's what I would like to know.
Okay, yeah, those were the concerns that we addressed in the last board meeting, and we'd like a copy if we can get them.
Now, I did have a chance to see Mr. Padgett over the last week. We were meeting and just talking about other things, and it came up, and so he made some valid points, and I guess that's what he's going to address us about today, so.
Okay. We're going to let Mr. Padgett.
Madam Chair, just for your information, Ms. Odom is here, and if you have any questions about the audit, because she was not here at the last meeting.
Okay.
But if you have questions, she can address the audit.
Is this a copy of the letter? I'm sorry.
Here, you can use mine. Mine is right here.
Well, yes, I'm here in behalf of Lift Putnam. And as you know, Lift Putnam has a vested financial interest in regard to EDGE's loan application. You will recall that when we sold EDGE, the Campbell Building, we took back, that is, Lift Putnam took back a mortgage for $385,000. And at the time, EDGE representatives told us that they hoped to be able to get a USDA guaranteed loan, and if so, we would be paid off. I don't want to misrepresent that. They simply said they hoped. They didn't make any promises. They didn't offer that as an inducement to the deal. They just were telling us what they would like to do.
That's it.
And I might add that since we entered into our agreement with them, they have done everything that has been asked of them. They've fulfilled all their obligations, and we have had absolutely no problems whatsoever. So the loan, though, should they get it, is obviously very important to us and to the district, and most of all our children, our needy 4-year-old children, because we can take those monies, which will be in excess of $400,000, depending on when it's paid off, if it's paid off. And we've consulted with financial planners and are assured that we can safely invest those monies in a very secure fashion at a greater rate of return than what we're getting on the mortgage. And initial projections are that if we were paid off, that a sound, prudent investment could generate upwards of $60,000 a year for the next 10 years.
That's great.
So, thanks to your vision and your courage in doing what you did with the Campbell Building, we see that as a $600,000 potential positive for our kids here in Putnam County. So, as far as the letter is concerned, I would just caution you against including any language that some may feel is extraneous or irrelevant.
What do you mean, some?
Any.
Kathy,
You said some may feel.
Kathy,
I didn't know
That's
who, I
some
didn't know
people.
who some was. Who-
Well, anyone that might read the letter, it's a matter of public record.
let me interject something. You weren't here.
Right.
Kathy brought up a very good point in the last meeting that it really, that all they asked for was, are they in good standing with us? And they are, and we were so concerned
2 of the 4.
of 2 of the 4 things. We were overly concerned for ourselves, and I don't, and that's the kind of the hitch I see. I have to concur with Kathy in that. They either are in good standing or they're not in good standing. However, it'll be what the board decides to do. This,
I suggest we take the words "also attached here to" out. If you want to say the school district has some concerns regarding certain requirements with EDGE's charter, EDGE and the school district are working closely together to address those. If that's a compromise, without attaching a laundry list. I mean, if we did not for anything, but if we did an audit of our own schools and all that, we would pick up a bunch of stuff too. So I don't think it's fair. I would like the pendulum to go the other way for EDGE, to kind of make up for what they had to put up with in the beginning, and give them the benefit of the doubt, and don't attach any enumerated list of things.
So
They're
you-
they're working well with us. Our superintendent's administration is working well with them to fix all these things that have come to light, because they asked us for really a letter of credit, a credit thing, a financial,
are they in good standing?
are they in good standing? I mean,
Well,
that-
they
you're
had 4
saying-
components, and this addresses one of the components. So what you're saying is to say the school district has some concerns,
Two could be
but don't attach the list of
That's all,
concerns.
just take
Just
that
say
little
has some
phrase out.
concerns.
Don't even say we have concerns?
No, the school district has some concerns regarding certain requirements.
And
blah,
that
blah,
we're
blah,
working
blah, blah,
closely
blah.
together.
Exactly.
And if they want to know what the concerns are, they
Then
can
we've
follow
got the
up. I'm
list,
okay with that.
exactly.
I'm okay with
I'm
that.
good with that.
I
I'm
think
okay
that's
with that.
That's along the
compromise,
line, kind of,
and it sounds better.
I'm okay with that.
I was just gonna say, if that be the case, why not delete paragraph 2 altogether?
Well, because I'm
No.
trying to make a compromise.
I think Kathy's suggestion would cover both sides of
And I
the
think
issue.
Charlie would have to, advise us. I think, I would think we'd need to at least say we have some concerns, but we're working together to resolve.
That's what Kathy, yeah.
But I mean, that's up to
And-
Charlie to advise
All
us.
right,
Just
and look
say
at
that-
enumerating.
I'm not the one from the district who has been communicating with the USDA. I don't know, my understanding,
Did they ask for a list?
I don't know if they.
Just if
Who would know? Did
All
they,
they gave us were the 4 criteria.
Are they in good
And
standing?
what we did is provided you the factual information regarding those 4 criteria, so you can make a decision on whether you did a letter and what the letter would look like.
I just think what Kathy said, that, we had some concerns, and Edge and the school district were working closely together to address those concerns.
And then if they
I
want
don't even know if we have to say
they want to
enumerated.
If they want to
Right, that's why I
investigate,
pulled
they're
it
going
back
to
for.
investigate anyway. I mean, that's kind of how it is, but that just told them there's been concerns, and, we were working together to get them resolved.
And
Madam
if it's
Chairman, did
public
you
record,
wish
they
for
know
me
the
to
concerns
conclude my
anyway.
remarks?
Oh, you have some more you'd like to
Well,
say?
Well,
I
I had some more
would.
that I had thought about just touching on.
Sure.
The whole thing with the Campbell Building has been a controversial issue, and it will continue to be. And anytime you have positive change, you're going to have controversy, and I don't see it ending, just going away, poof. You've got those that are for, those that are against. I do think that this letter that you send will be read very closely, and that's by a lot of people, and you will have detractors and supporters.
Well, as we do about everything.
Yes, ma'am, as you do about everything. So, in addressing the language and what you finally put in, I would encourage you to avoid as much language that's subject to interpretation or misinterpretation as possible. I don't think you want to inadvertently send a message that you may be negative or obstructionist in any way. Rather, I think the message you want to send is, you folks have asked for certain information, here's the information. I have a concern, and I know where Mr. Douglas is coming from.
that's part of the
I have great respect. In the last paragraph, he's making absolutely certain that the district is protected. If there was ever any remote idiotic thought that somehow you folks would be responsible, the district would be responsible for the loan if it was made. But I question the use of the phrase, if they default, or, some might say that, looking at the letter in totality, you're
Doesn't say
saying
that.
we have concerns, and if they don't pay it, don't look to us. Now,
Well, that's pretty much what it says.
yes, well, I'm not sure, what is the necessity, honestly, of telling them that you're not legally liable for a loan? The law is clear. The law isn't going to change. So why even mention the possibility of a default?
We directed,
Rhonda, did you want to say anything about
I
that?
think we
Or
directed Charlie to try to make sure that we were indemnified, but
You wouldn't
Yeah.
be indemnified. You don't have any liability to begin with. I'll sit down, but I would think you could abbreviate that. I know and it's a very good thought, and I have great respect for
can't
Charlie.
hurt.
But you could simply say, this letter should not be construed as a waiver of Florida statute blank, period, and not say, if they don't make their payment, don't look to us. Those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Jane, if you're talking about the piece about whether we would be financially responsible, we would not be financially responsible if they defaulted or whatever. So it doesn't fall back on the district, that piece of it, if that's what you're asking me.
Okay.
Did you, and just Rhonda, while you're up here, did you have a comment? There's a question, do you need to get your stuff? About the audit, I know that was brought up last meeting, and if you would choose to hear, I just want to make sure Rhonda was able to clarify the last audit for you.
Well, I think if it said the audit's going to be attached, that that information will be provided to. And looking at the audit and everything, if you look at page 1, it talks about the government-wide positions and how the statements report the school's net position and current year changes. The school only has governmental activities. They do not have business type or component, and it says the net position is the difference between the school's total assets and total liabilities. Measuring net position is one way to evaluate the school's financial position. That's on page 1 of the audit. And then page 3 shows that the total net position is a negative $60,216, but it has improved from last year, which was a negative $98,028. And it tells, there's a little paragraph at the bottom of page 3 that says the main reason for that is the forgiveness of the loan, the $32,000 loan, the debt. So that made their bottom line look better, but it's still in the negative. And one of the things, I think that Charlie had shown me at one of the, after one of the meetings, if you're in a generally accepted accounting principle in a good position, you've got a positive, net position. They've got a negative one, but they've had a negative one since inception, and they've continued to tool along and everything.
But
So
isn't that something
that will be part of the
USDA
audit
would-
that they will see.
Yeah, I mean,
So the
they're gonna
audit
be
will-
able to figure that out on their
Yeah.
own.
So if it's
Yeah, when they
attached,
ask
it's
for their
already there.
their financials, they'll,
Right.
they'll figure that out.
I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing the letter or anything,
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
audit is connected. There's several different highlighted things, in there, and that would be one of the things they would see. It is a negative net position, and they've been there.
Well, we can
but
take
they
the third
continue to-
paragraph
It's
out.
highlighted already.
No, in my copy, it was highlighted.
Yeah, we're not sending them a
No,
highlighted.
you're not.
No.
So,
Then it's up to them to look at it.
but I would
Yeah.
think they're in that business, and if it's a concern, they'll get with
If they're
them
giving
they
out
have a
that much money,
concern.
they're gonna check everything they have.
But, it is, they do have a negative net position. It did improve from last year, but it's still a negative net position and everything.
place to
So
point that out.
that does show in the audit. They didn't have any findings, and they didn't have any corrections from last year, but it does report that they have a negative net
Well,
position.
I mean, we can take the last paragraph out, change what Kathy said, and that'll be the letter, if that's what we
Well,
want to do.
I would say just take that last phrase out. In the
Thanks,
event
Ron.
Edge potentially defaults on the USDA loan. That's the suggestive negative phrase. The rest, this
Okay.
letter shall not be viewed as
Okay.
waiver. So I'm
Okay.
ready to make a motion. if
Wait a
that's
minute,
okay.
hold
Well,
on.
wait, are you going to explain how we
Yes,
want it?
exactly.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I want.
And Kathy, I agree with her because, as Mr. Paget said, I could see a disgruntled ex-employee that had to be terminated or released trying to use this to create problems
Yes.
for Edge. You don't know who's out there that may, there's people that are really for this and there's people that really aren't for it. So.
Okay, for clarification, so for paragraph 2, we're all in agreement with paragraph 1, the opening statement.
Yeah.
Now, in paragraph 2, what are we saying?
We're taking out also attached here too. And we're taking out enumerated.
Okay, so it will read, the school district has some concerns regarding certain requirements within EDGE's charter. EDGE and the school district are working closely together to address those concerns and reach a positive outcome. Sounds good. Flo.
And then in the last paragraph, after the words Florida statutes.
The whole rest of it.
eliminating that
This letter
phrase.
shall not be viewed as a waiver of section da-da-da-da-da statute, and the
Yep.
comma
Period.
becomes a period.
Period.
Okay?
Madam Chair, can I just make you aware, Stacy Owens is here, if you had any questions about the fourth criteria that we talked about. I know Rhonda talked about the finances, but if you have any questions about the data reporting,
No, I mean,
Here.
we know what it is, and it's got to be fixed, and I think they're trying to do that.
okay, I'm just saying, if you wanted an update on that. she's-
Yeah,
Well, in a few months, I mean, I think you'd want an update. in
Yeah, I mean,
6
they can
months or
come back
so.
and say, and because they're just as concerned as we are that their students meet graduation requirements.
Well, I want to make sure
And
they.
we've already established a pathway for EDGE to work with the district closely, with those
Right,
people
and
that
that's-
have an expertise in various areas. You reach out to them, get that information, and move along. So
Well,
that
and my
kids-
main thing too is I want to make sure, accurate FTE reporting is going to be
Yes, sir.
the
I
basis of
understand.
them generating revenue. So
Right.
I want to make sure that there's not any issues there.
Right.
Well, I think if those issues come up, we're going to have to deal with them separately from this letter to
Okay.
to USDA.
I just want to make sure you know that we do have
Right.
it available if you have any questions.
And
Thank
we
you, Stacy.
looked at our seniors, am I correct? And we're making sure, because that does affect our graduation rate, and so we're going to work on those things.
And they know that they're going to have to do that again in January at the end of the first semester,
Okay.
just like every other guidance counselor in every other high school in Putnam County does. And, that's when you catch your last stragglers and,
Okay, David, you want to make a motion?
Well, Kathy was gonna make
With
it.
the- All right, with the
Kathy's gonna
changes.
and she's
that have
going to
been-
make it with the changes.
Okay,
She's going to couch it.
Here are the corrections. I just want to make sure, because that's the copy we're working off. of.
Yeah.
If y'all want to make sure that's what you're.
No, I'll give you mine. That first sentence of the last paragraph stays. Okay, I'm making a motion that we approve the letter to Putnam, I'm
USDA.
sorry, to USDA regarding EDGE with the following changes. In paragraph 2, delete the phrase "also attached hereto" and the word "enumerated." And in the third paragraph, delete the phrase "in the event EDGE potentially defaults on the USDA loan."
Is there a second?
Second. Oh, hold it.
She
Yeah,
said here.
Well, second is fine, now we
Kathy-
can talk about it.
Kathy, on that third paragraph, the school board will not and cannot assume any debts. You want to leave that in? That's,
Well, why not?
Yeah.
That's not saying anything bad about
Florida
EDGE or
statute.
implying anything bad about EDGE.
you're fine, but I mean, the letter, when
And
you
then
think
that
about it,
last
Florida
sentence.
statutes,
Just that
if-
last-
Clarifies it.
Exactly,
that's fine.
Yeah.
okay?
Is there a second?
It's second by me.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Paget.
Is there anything else for the good of the order? Meeting is adjourned.
Sounds good to me.